So just to summarize, and then maybe we can go and take some questions. We were talking about the challenges of uncertainty, fear, and anxiety, and how it impacts your nervous system. You want to get to know your own nervous system and to realize that if you're going to black and white thinking, probably, you know, when you're doing the friend or foe kind of thinking, probably what's happening is you're in lizard brain and you want to try to calm your nervous system. It's the first thing you want to do. People have different ways of doing that. Autumn, you talked about breathing, you know, and that's always a great place to start. I'm sure many of you out there have a variety of practices, whether it be getting some fresh air, you know, air just seems like a really amazing commodity these days. You know, getting some exercise, these are all things that can help calm your nervous system. Limiting negative input, especially if you're starting to feel overwhelmed and you're noticing you're having a hard time with the sort of gray area thinking. Finding connection with your loved ones. In whatever way that you can, so that you don't feel so alone, that you can remember that connection. Finding ways to have meaningful engagement in your life. You know, what are the things that are meaningful to you, and allow yourself to do those things. You want to be able to cultivate integrated living practices, ways that help you bring mind, body, spirit together. You know, I spend a lot of time as a talking head these days, you know, on Zoom. And so I have to move a lot. Like I've taken up jogging, which is shocking. I hate to jog. But it feels so good at the end of my day when I've been sitting on Zoom all day to throw on my shoes and just run out the door. It's incredible. And so you want to be able to finally, and also we talked about the negativity bias and how the brain really is prone to overemphasize the negative. And this is a way of sort of helping to depathologize that in all of us. Like, yeah, our brains, we love that stuff. You know, this is why negative campaigning is always so effective. We're always looking for—
Oh my gosh.
We leap onto the negative. We love that stuff. Unfortunately, it also leads to all sorts of othering and inhumane practices and how we handle all sorts of things. So we want to try to change the balance of that negativity bias and to try to fill ourselves up with more positive, especially during times like this when we're really being challenged.
Yeah. Kind of in the spirit of summarizing that, like the limiting negativity, I think one of my biggest tools for that one is, as you're saying, definitely don't start your day with it. Finding a very positive way to start your day, and it probably doesn't involve the phone, right? Like that shouldn't be the first thing you reach for. Yeah. And if the things around you that are accessible to you don't happen to be other living creatures, I don't know, like what might be the best thing? Like fresh air, like go open a window.
Well, I think this is where it's really helpful, you know, to spend a little time allowing yourself to see what comes up for yourself in terms of what feels good to you, you know, so to really like, because everybody has a different recipe for this. Like I don't have a prescription for it. And when I'm working with somebody individually, or as a couple even, or a family around this, the first thing I do is ask people what they typically do. You know, like, what do you typically do to help yourself feel good? You know, and if it's something that seems like it makes them feel good, and it's a healthy enough practice, you know, because certainly we may turn to you know, if it's something that you're already doing that works for you, great, you know, and it's healthy enough, excellent, you know, do that. And I like to find out, like, you know, try to find out like what are some things you're already doing, and then if you really lack some things, you know, there's a variety of things you want to think about. You want to think about getting your body moving, because we're all spending way too much time confined, you know, so this is part of the reason why we're all being advised to try to get out and exercise, you know, in places where it feels safe to do that, or inside your own home. I've been doing a lot of dancing in my house. Some of you may have seen my videos of just like any kind of movement, the best thing to do. But I'm a
down.
But you know, whatever it is that helps you feel safe. I mean, that's the other thing, you know, because there is so much fear and uncertainty, to really get to know, you know, spend some time thinking about this. What are the things that help you feel safe? And again, it may be different than the things that your partner may feel safe around, or your family, or your son or your daughter, or, you know, anybody else in your household, if you are sharing a household with other people, roommates, etc. You might even want to consider getting together and talking about, like, what is it that helps you feel safe? This is what helps me feel safe. And then thinking about how you can come together around some of those things and really help each other.